What you're listening to right now is Here We Go from Max Anarchy. And there's a comment under this video that I really like. Never seen or heard of Max Anarchy, but this song gives me the vibe that this is an underrated gem. And Mr. Super Nintendo, you have no idea how right you are.
DJ bring that beat, so I can bust, slang the street, bang with the beat, send me auto. Like you see you dodge these hollows, I throw too much beat to swallow. Can't keep up with me to follow. Sound check is over, show's just begun. Trying to escape lecturers, don't run. Beats in the show, got you there. Not in control, there is nowhere to go. You're moving too slow, and this is how it goes. Ready to go, here we go.
Anarchy Reigns, also known as Max Anarchy in Japan, is an interesting game to me. It's not the most popular game, and certainly didn't sell well, but the soundtrack on YouTube has 5,700,000 views. Guys, in case you didn't notice, you get a free game with this mixtape. And I'm not here to say something along the lines of, oh, I've been playing Max Anarchy before you guys knew about the soundtrack. Nah, I had a friend called Islam who introduced me to the soundtrack, and I've been listening to it ever since. Me and Islam don't really talk anymore, especially considering that last time I spoke to him, he was really excited about getting some programmer socks, and I don't think he's really into video games anymore. This game is a sequel to Mad World, bringing back a lot of its cast to fill the ranks of selectable characters. Jack, Big Bull, Baron, Matilda all return to lay quite the beatdown. But this time, the players have been cured of their color blindness through the power of Allah. Looks great. I'm not surprised to see this game have such awesome designs like this when the director for this game is a lead designer and planner for many of my favorite games. This game was a commercial failure, which on this channel we're very used to that. Every game that we like out here gets trashed, unfortunately. But that's not the part that makes me tweak out. The part that makes me tweak out is the fact that there is no way to play this game on PC. So in an attempt to silence my schizophrenic and homicidal thoughts, let me yap at you about Max Anarchy, because I recently got to experience it through means. Anarchy Reigns is a 3D beat 'em up with fighting game and party game elements to it. This sounds stupid on paper, but hear me out. It genuinely works in whatever magic that Platinum do to make things like this work. As a lock-on system, a block that can be broken, a dodge, light and heavy attacks that can be mixed together for different effects, a grab button which is so hype, probably as hype as Nero's goddamn Buster, because check this shit out.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! The Cone Roster, John Cena! Look at that Hurricane Ride from Cena!
Power bombs, German suplexes, double grabs, unique animations for everyone on this one. Combat is very simple, as in to say, it's not Street Fighter or Tekken. Every character has a very similar moveset, and it's very simple to really get to know what the characters do. They mostly all have God of War style light and heavy attack. But then you have some delay attacks to mix up your opponent here and there. You can do some air combos, and for a lot of characters, they can do some pretty nice combos using them. And for others, you got fucking infinites. Yeah, yeah, dude, this is Max Anarchy, motherfucker. We clowning in this bitch. You better take your sensitive ass back to Street Fighter 6. And then you have the game's main feature, the killer weapons. The killer weapon is basically a completely different stance for every character. Usage is limited, but damage is plentiful. Every character has their own killer weapon animations. If you are on the receiving end of one of these attacks, your health bar is not gonna look too great. Every single character has their own killer weapon like animation when they get a clean hit on someone. And it's so sick for every one of these characters, from getting hit by a Marvel combo or getting your face sat on My penis feels extremely confused about this.
And finally, everyone can use weapons that they find around the stage. This ranges from stuff that you can use like it was Mad World, the good old days, or weapons of mass destruction that are definitely not approved by the Geneva Convention. But I guess we nuked the world, so it doesn't really matter. I almost failed to mention the rampage meter. Basically, the more fights you're in, the higher the meter goes, and it is a win button. Once you activate it, you are invincible, have infinite killer weapon, and anytime you strike anyone with a basic attack, you go into Hukto Yakuritskin. A misinformed viewer might say something along the lines of, oh, this is just a deceptively complex 1v1 fighter. Who said it is a 1v1 game? When I told you this was a beat 'em up, the is an abbreviation of them, which is plural. This is not a 1v1 fighter. This is a 16-player deathmatch. The amount of modes that this game has me spoiled for choice. Yes, I can play a cage match, but there's also deathmatch, team deathmatch, a MOBA-like mode, which, just like every other MOBA, makes me extremely frustrated. The aforementioned Battle Royale with 16 players in a gigantic map with map events and weapons and level ups that is extremely chaotic and extremely fun. And then you can also have something very, very different. Death Ball. Imagine Rocket League, but with violence. It's actually much closer to this old arcade game called Heavy Smash, where you grab the ball, you run towards the enemy's goal, and try to score. The one thing of note that I really like about it is the fact that it has supers for every character, which is so insane to add to this already struggling game that it only just cements the fact that these devs just adore this game and love it. Does this have multiplayer? Yes, but for some reason, Platinum have this absolute inability to make an online video game. The netcode feels like the wheel is turning, but the hamster is dead. And with Platinum Games' track record with these multiplayer games, and knowing them for a while now, it starts to feel like it's some sort of inside joke. But unfortunately for you and I, we're not in on it. Now, like I said earlier, Anarchy Reigns isn't exactly a hit, and was quickly forgotten to time. But what wasn't forgotten, and what sticks as its legacy, is its absolutely legendary soundtrack. It is a mixtape of a bunch of unknown artists going hard on some insane beats. And why it's so memorable is because there isn't really anything like this out there. So if you really enjoyed the soundtrack, it's really the only thing like it. They are absolutely perfect for the game's insanely chaotic gameplay, and they flesh out the world as well. For example, one of the first songs that you hear in the game, Ruthless, really gives you an idea of what world you're living in if you didn't read the synopsis at the start of the game. Because in case you didn't get the subtle hints, we nuked the world until it became modern-day Detroit.
Take him to Detroit.
No! This is how we live, friend. Mutated creatures should destroy is the purpose. I used to love the city, now I spit on its surface. No fears and no tears, that's the vision here. Stepping over bodies full of virus and cancers. I'm immune to it, bathed in it, gaze in it. Get a rush from it when I see the earth plummet. New day, new pains, new defense. Smell of death is in the city, criminals running rampant. Survival of the fittest while the weakest lay comatose. Cancerous epidemics spreading like common cold.
Another example is We All Soldiers for Gargoyle, who's a character that doesn't have any dialogue, but the song itself gives you basically all you need to know about who these guys are.
Flashes of a family, could it be a memory? Numb to the killing, so I know it's not affecting me. Android referee, follow orders to a T. The definition of what a soldier supposed to be. Never going east, fights I'm not selective. Do what I was programmed to, follow my directives.
Along with a lot of songs that accompany character fights that basically cement them as who they are. And it's absolutely amazing. Have a listen.
Synonym of sinister, the end is what I'm giving them. Yo, who want it? Knuckles clenched, blood drenched, dead. Yo, who want it? Come
stepping hungry, getting fed. Yo, who want it? Hearing all the challenges call through the battles and brawl. I stand and they fall as a hand on the yo, who want it? Knuckles free.
Yo, this land is littered with lunatics and killers. They smile like crocodiles while they beat you like gorillas. And I ain't like none of them, no I ain't one of them. Even though my hands stay bloody and got a gun in them. Yeah, I'm on a different path, headed to a different shore. Shit, most these cowards don't even know what they fighting for. They ain't got nothing left, nothing else, nothing more. But I got something for them, wait till they see what's in store.
The soundtrack is just amazing. I often find myself listening to it or just saying the lyrics out loud whenever. You can probably go out there and give it a listen on YouTube and you probably would find a new favorite song of yours. Story! It's great. The story mode starts in Asylum, the bar that you see everyone in the main menu. Our main man, Jack, Death Games champion Cayman, is talking to Amala, the same Amala from Mad World. All the while, some IBS boys walk in and start asking questions they shouldn't be asking. Looking for a man called Max, a IBS operative who went a little cyber psycho, who Jack is also looking for. A scuffle happens and Jack gets knocked out, and this is where the game starts, asking which side of history you want to be on, black or white. It only changes which character you play as, but it's still a crazy screen to look at out of context. You either play as Jack or Leo, both revealing a lot about the characters as you play the campaign. Jack's chainsaw is fueled by primordial anger. It's that shit that Ashura was on. He's still quite witty, and before the world went to shit, he had a daughter, which died, shot, accidentally, by Max, who is also the person that Jack is trying to save because Max's daughter hired him to. So to say that he's conflicted is one hell of an understatement. During his campaign, he goes up against ghosts of his past. Big Bull, now without the World War II Germany imagery, whose brain has been put into a cyborg body and runs a gang, who's very deceivingly friendly. He also gets to meet the Blacker Baron.
Well, well, well. If it ain't my old buddy Jack, didn't expect to see your ass around here. Chaser Man Jack.
Allow me to fangirl over this for a minute. Oh my god, I love this guy. His voice is so smooth and his design is so sick. Dude, he's got a fuck you written on his teeth, Gyro Zeppeli style, and he's got the gyro beard pattern. And he's got Ghostface Killer's Phoenix Gauntlet. How do you tell me he's not the coolest? And honestly, the writing shines when both him and Jack are on screen.
Jack, don't play that. Maybe the motherfucker who took my mark back in Mill Valley was your evil twin. Nah, God wouldn't allow something so ugly twice.
Ugly pulled your ass out of the frying pan when we were chasing that pyromaniac sex freak a few years back. Saw you kept his gloves. You know where those have been, right?
Baby, that ain't cool.
Why these motherfuckers always gotta have some long-ass tentacles and shit? Man, don't say that.
Sounds like jealousy.
Jealousy? Motherfucker, that lip-ass calamari motherfucker ain't got shit on the barrel. I don't need no damn tentacles.
He's also flanked by Matilda, who is... I'm in love with Matilda. Like, she is... I love femme fatales, and she is every bit a femme fatale. She's eye candy. I adore her. Do not ask me why. The plot isn't anything to write home about, honestly. Everyone just kind of starts ganging up on the final boss, and they live happily ever after. It's fun to go through, particularly for character writing. Once you finish the story, you're allowed to play through it again as any character in the game. This game adores the Platinum Legacy, with references to old games like Cybrid Joe, who's a play on Tiger Joe from God Hand, Zero being a Metal Gear Rising reference, even though Metal Gear Rising wasn't out at that point. It's genuinely kind of heartwarming to see all this stuff, and to know that Platinum is such a tightly knit studio is wonderful. It's one of those games that's held back by too many factors, if you ask me. A bad Western release that had it compete with Metal Gear Rising, which, by the way, is Platinum's game, and Devil May Cry, the bad one.
My name
constante, el exterminador de demonios.
To be honest, if you're competing with Devil May Cry on a release date, you're gonna struggle whether it's a good or a bad one. And also the fact that there's no real overlap between Wii players that had Mad World and people who owned a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It is what it is. I'm happy I got to play it at the end of the day, and it does suck that we'll probably never get something like this again, especially since Sega owned the IP and Platinum aren't interested in bringing it back either. But I'm still happy it happened. Be nice to your video games. You never know when you're getting a hidden gem. And that's all I have. I suppose the message here is try to enjoy your games, no matter their flaws. And I'm just here to yap at you about them and, I don't know, maybe introduce a game that you've never heard about or played, and maybe give you a good experience while doing so. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing this essay more than I enjoyed writing it. And, have a good one.